Welcome back to Keeping It Real. I'm David Grossman. We have in the hot seat Nisar Ahmed. Nisar, how are you?
Doing great, David. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us. I found Nisar on LinkedIn. It's an amazing tool, isn't it?
It is. It's people underestimate the power of LinkedIn, and it really has a lot of value if you put your time and effort into it.
For sure. And I was very impressed with your profile.
Thank you.
You're doing some great things. Nisar is very well-educated young man. I call you a young man. Maybe you're the same age as me. I don't know. I'm 47. Should I ask you how old you are, or is that inappropriate?
That's okay. I'm 28.
28, so he is a young man. He's a young man, and he's a seasoned sales and marketing consultant. So he's had a lot of great sales experience, which we're going to talk about. But also, he's got a bachelor in technology engineering.
Yes.
Metallurgy. I don't even know what that is. What is metallurgy?
Basically, it is a study of metals, different metals, and how they're processed and how they're delivered and all that.
Okay, so you have in material science. So you have a technical background.
Yes.
As well as the sales experience, which is, I think, a pretty dangerous combination, don't you think?
Yeah, I think you can call that dangerous because I started out as an engineer, but I really found myself drawn towards sales, and that's where I am right now. And thinking back, that's a good point you made. Thinking back, I think it's good to have the technical background because you can understand the products, you can understand the services a little bit better.
Well, yeah, I think it's a pretty unique capability to be able to step into the technical world and then step into the world of sales, because the two things are night and day. And most people, they're either one way or the other. So if you can step into both worlds, I think it's a pretty powerful combination.
I agree.
So tell us about the work you're doing in sales. How do you help people and companies?
So right now, the company, my company is moresales.ca. So this is what we do. We don't deliver products or services. We solve problems, and this is what we find out. Our ideal customer is a business that's been around for a few years, entrepreneurially driven companies in business for more than 5 years, and they have been around for a few years. So the biggest challenge they have right now, the problem they have is they want to establish themselves as a brand. Because that's one way they can stand out from their competition. You and I can agree, every business has competition.
Oh yes, indeed.
Yeah. So when they establish themselves as a brand, they're no more competing for price, they become a value-driven company. So their perception in the marketplace changes. That's the number one problem we solve. The second problem we solve is every company has a sales process. We help them identify what their sales process is. We refine and improve on them so they can improve their closing ratio. Whether it's just one-man operation or a big publicly traded company, they all have sales ratios, they have close ratios, but it's good to identify them so you can improve. And the last thing is, every business, we want to target the right customers, the high value, the highly profitable clients. So we help them identify who those clients are and we help them reach those customers.
Right. So can you give me an example of the types of clients that you've helped or that More Sales has helped?
Sure, we have worked with various companies, mainly out of Cambridge, Kitchener-Waterloo area. And I think the one thing that really jumps to my mind is a company that is, there's a company that specializes, I don't want to give the name of the company.
That's okay, you don't have to mention their name, I'm just...
So basically they deal with, we have worked with companies all across the industries, different industries. One company, for example, was a garage door supplier. They're based out of that area, and they wanted to establish themselves separately. So the way they have, one of the things they wanted to come to us for, they wanted to be top of mind. So one of the things we help them is leverage online marketing. So we made that.
What kind of marketing?
Online.
Online,
the power of the internet. So let's say you have a garage that is damaged. You immediately jump on Google. You want to find the closest place. So we somehow help them get on top, and they've been very successful with that. That's one of the customers. So that is typically a B2C client garage. We do a lot of work in the B2B area. We have a client out of Oakville, Mississauga, which is a logistics company. I think they came to us because they wanted to brand themselves, and they have been very happy. They have been dealing with us for many years.
Right. Yes. So you find a lot of companies, they leave the branding. They don't take care of that right away. They just open up a business, start running around and making deals. If they're fortunate, it's fortunate if they can go. So that, I guess that's a typical client. Somebody who's been around for a few years, has a business going, and they're saying, well, how do we take it to the next level?
Exactly. Because I'll talk about two things. It's two questions. What is the ideal client? And the second one is why? Why is branding important? So I'll talk about the branding first. I think whether you're a business or yourself as a person, individual, it's important to establish yourself as a brand. And the best example I can give you is Apple. Not a lot of businesses where people line up for 5 hours to get an MP3 player or a phone. So they have established themselves as a brand, and then when you do that, you're no more competing about price. You become a value competitor in the market. So it's very critical for companies. So initially, when they start out, that's not something they keep in mind. They're in the survival stage. They want to get as many customers as they can. So what the clients that I'm looking to work with, or the ideal client, would be first of all entrepreneurial driven. They've been around for more than 5 years, ideally 5 to 10 employees. And any company between 1 million to 50 million in sales. And usually the companies we are looking to work with, the owner wears so many hats. The owner he or she is running around doing so many things, and they really don't have time to focus on the most important things. We believe sales is the heartbeat of the business, so they have to focus on that. So when they don't have enough time, that's where they come to us and say, can you help us out?
So now tell us about some of your experience in sales. I mean, I know you do presentations as well. You help people with things like public speaking.
Yes, I am deeply involved with the company, an organization called Toastmasters. So I've been a member for many years. It has really helped me. So anybody watching, whether you're a business owner or individual, I highly recommend them. Check it out. It helps them to speak in public. There's a joke by Jerry Seinfeld who says that, if you go to a funeral, most people would rather be in the casket than give the eulogy. So it's the number one fear, but at the end of the day, it's a great way to market your business, because sometimes you're invited to a meeting and you're asked to speak in front of a few people. So that, if you can cover that aspect, it'll really make it easier for your business. So that is one thing I do. I highly recommend anybody to look into that.
Right. Well, I notice you have some presentations online. How to give sales presentations, that kind of thing, or?
One of the presentations I have on my LinkedIn profile is about meetings, and everybody is involved in some type of meetings. And how do you have effective meetings? We want to make sure that somebody comes to your meeting, their time is well spent. And another thing I always speak about is whenever we go, I'm sure everybody has gone to a presentation, and I hate to say this, but most of them are not engaging. For lack of a better word, boring. So one thing I believe is, people, when they give speeches, they just stand and assume that audience wants to listen to you. So I talk about engaging your customers and engaging your audience so that you make a more impactful speech or presentation.
Can you give us a pointer or a tip on how somebody does that?
Sure. The first thing, as I said, is never assume. You might be the expert in your field and you're asked to speak in front of 50 people. Never assume that your audience that's my rule, never assume the audience wants to listen to you. So I always get a buy-in. The first thing I ask is, why are you here? Why do you want to listen to me? And you get the buy-in. For example, if I'm there at a conference and I want to speak about LinkedIn, and the first thing I'll ask the audience, okay, how many of you have heard of LinkedIn? Then, okay, what do you use LinkedIn for?
Good idea.
And has it helped you? So now the audience, even if 3 or 4 people in the audience have answered you, the rest of the audience is thinking, okay, this guy gets me, he's connecting with me. Then after that I can say, you know what, would you be, if I give you some ideas how you can make a LinkedIn profile even better, would you be interested? The natural answer is yes. At that point, the audience is more relaxed and you can have an engaging. So I think the opening is very key. And if you can engage the audience right away, then your presentation after that is a piece of cake.
Well, that sounds like a very good tip, Nisar.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. So you said the typical client is between 1 and
50 million.
1 and 50 million in sales. per year?
In revenue, yes.
In revenue per year. Okay, there you've got it. So be sure to give Nissar a call. We've got his phone number up on the screen for you there, 731-3147, area code 416, or send him an email at nissar@moresales.ca. Great domain, by the way. Certainly can't get better than that, moresales.ca. If you wonder what they do, you know, you'll be wondering for too long. Thanks again for coming to the studio, Nissar. Appreciate it. We're going to be talking with Steve Kornbluth, mortgage agent, in just a minute. Hang in there. We'll be right back.